Video with me, Manil, here on Unacademy's YouTube channel for IELTS. And as always, I'm back with another video that will help you prepare better for the IELTS test. Now, this particular video is the fourth and the last one in this series of 4 videos where I'm teaching you 21 words in total for your IELTS test. So, in the first video, we did 5. Second, we did another 5. Third, we did another 5. And this is the last one where we'll be doing 6 words. So, giving you a total of 21 words. I hope you've already watched the previous 3 lessons. If you haven't, I recommend you do go back and watch those videos. In the event that you do not understand any of those, or that you think that you need to learn more, what I recommend is download the app, download the Unacademy app, join me for lessons over there, and you can ask me your lesson questions, you can ask me your doubts, and I'll be happy to answer those for you over there. Alright, so what are we going to do in this video? One, like I said, we look at the 6 words that are still pending, and then finally what we'll also do is we will look at all 21 words once again, so that you can have a quick revision of all the words that have been taught. Alright, now just before we get started with that, what I want to let you know is, for a lot of you already know this, but for those of you who don't, that you can study with me on a platform called Unacademy Plus. What is Unacademy Plus? Now, I'm sure you already know Unacademy, and you know that Unacademy has an app that you can download for free from the Play Store or from the Apple App Store, right? And then you can register for free, and you can also start attending a lot of free lessons, and you can watch a lot of free published videos on the platform. And that there are lessons conducted by educators such as I and others where we conduct live lessons just like this. The difference is that here there is a lot of gap between me speaking and you listening. So as a result, it's very difficult to conduct a classroom where everything goes smoothly. But on the app, because there is no gap, there is no lag, so things happen a lot faster. You can hear me instantly, you can respond to my questions instantly, you can ask me your questions and I can respond instantly. So as a result, the learning is a lot faster. Learning is a lot more effective. That being said, those free lessons are meant for you to get an idea as to exactly how do we teach, right? And the actual learning where you get to learn right from the beginning all the way to your test happens on the platform called Unacademy Plus. Now, this is part of the app itself. You don't need to download any other app. Within the app itself, there is the Unacademy Plus platform. What you have to do is to attend. So on the Unacademy Plus platform, I and all the other educators, we offer structured, scheduled courses. Okay, we offer scheduled, structured courses in which what we do is we give you everything that you need to know to prepare well for the test. So to join this, you need to pay a fees. Okay, and the fees is for 1 month, it is 2,700 rupees, and for 3 months, it is 6,600 rupees. I'll give you a code which will help you get a discount on this amount. I'll just come back to that. First, let me tell you what are the courses. What is the course that I offer on Unacademy Plus? So I have an IELTS course which is for 3 weeks. All right. And the lessons are from Monday to Friday. And they are 1 hour each. Okay. And in this, I teach you everything: listening, reading, writing, and speaking. I teach you all of these. All right. So this is the whole idea. And once you join this course, within 3 weeks, you'll be ready. But that being said, the 3 weeks deadline is for those who are already sort of at least above average at English. Guys, I need you to understand that IELTS is not about memorizing vocabulary or trying to just figure out a strategy. It is about knowing English. If you know your English, you'll do well on the test. If you do not know English, you can try a million and one things, or maybe a gazillion and two, but you will never score the desired band score on the IELTS test. So this is something that you always need to keep in mind. All right. Now, I said I'll give you a code which will help you get a discount on this. That code is Manil Live. This will give you 10% discount, and as a result, your fees for 1 month will be 2,430, and for 3 months will be 6,000. Now guys, do hurry up, because if I'm not wrong, I think the fees will be increased for the platform sometime next month, although I'm not sure about it yet, but I think that is going to happen. So it's best you join at the earliest. Even then, that being said, even with the increase, the fees will be still very affordable, so you can join at any point of time. But that being said, you can save some amount of money by subscribing at the earliest. Now, like I said, I'll be teaching you 6 new words. Let's get straight to the 6 new words, and then we'll come back to all of these words that have already been covered today until the previous lesson. So the first word is empirical. What is empirical? Empirical is a word that means that something which is based on observation or experiment. Okay, so usually the word is empirical evidence. Okay, so evidence is something that you gain by either you're observing something, so you sit down and you so evidence, right? I'm sure we've all heard the word evidence if we read Sherlock Holmes, or if we watch Sherlock Holmes, if we watch Crime Patrol or Savdhan India, we know that they're always looking for evidence, the police, right? How do they find evidence? They observe. Or then there are scientists who do research in laboratories, and then they go like, okay, so we did research for 10 months in terms of identifying how would an apple react to being dipped in water for more than 6 hours or something like that, and then we found this was the result. So that result is called empirical evidence. Why empirical? So empirical means that evidence has been brought about, that result, empirical result has been achieved by doing research, experimentation, or by making an observation. So for example, scientists do not accept a finding unless it is supported by empirical evidence. Okay, that is one. Yes, Pavandeep, correct. Proof. Actually, proof would be evidence, right? I mean, empirical is not proof per se. Empirical is more like anything that it could be proof, it could be it could be a hypothesis, it could be a theory, it could be anything, all right? So yeah, but that being said, mostly it will be proof, right? Because if you've managed to do a research, if you made a lot of observation, you'll be able to prove it, right? So usually everything empirical is considered to be a proof, not necessarily though. All right, next word is equilibrium. What is the meaning of the word equilibrium? Equilibrium means that something is in balance, all right? So balance could be anything. It could be of two physical objects, it could be of two intangible objects, it could be of your peace of mind. So equilibrium is where things are in that one state of balance, so that everything is sort of even, right? An example of equilibrium could be the two liquids. Sorry, so the two liquids will find equilibrium once they have been separated from each other. Okay, that could be one. Or I currently feel that I am in a state of equilibrium correct. Equilibrium when it comes. Okay, you mean empirical or equilibrium? I currently feel that I am in a state of equilibrium and want to stay like this for as long as possible. All right, let's go to the next one, regression. Now this one's a very interesting word, and I think this is something that is very, very applicable to almost everyone today. Regression means going back. Now it doesn't mean going back on something that you said. Regression literally means that you are moving in the wrong direction. So instead of going forward, right, you're going backwards. So today, when it comes to thought, people are in a state of regression as they have kicked logic in favor of emotions. Okay, so what I mean to say is that there is constant regression. People, instead of using logic and moving forward, the thought in itself is regressing. It is in a state of regression, which means it's going backward. People have stopped using logic and they are constantly thinking on the basis of emotion. Partial. What is the meaning of the word partial? Now I'm sure this one everyone's heard, right? And it's a very useful word as well, especially in task 2, because it is something that we can use while responding to some of the task 2 questions, right? So partial means sort of incomplete or not incomplete, not complete would be the best way, because not necessarily that each time it has to mean incomplete. So it means partial means that partial could have actually multiple meanings. One is you are partial towards somebody, which means that you are sort of you favor somebody, you're biased towards somebody. A lot of people, instead of saying biased, they say he's partial towards that person or he's partial against that person. That is also one way, but that is not necessarily correct. Okay, biased is the correct word over there. Partial means, so let's say you have a large bowl filled with let's say water, and then you take out water from there, and now when somebody asks you how much water have you taken, I've taken a partial quantity, which means not everything but some of it. All right, so now how is it useful for IELTS? You can say I partially agree, okay, or you can say I partially disagree. What does that mean? Ki neither are you completely agreeing with the given statement, nor are you completely disagreeing with the statement. So you're sort of midway, not necessarily even midway. You could be more this way but not completely that way, or you could be more this way but not completely that way, right? So that is what the meaning of the word partial is. All right, next one, consumption. Oh, what an interesting word. What an interesting word, and how relevant in the modern era, huh? So consumption means how much is spent on things, right? Consumption is like how much money that you've earned you're spending on buying things, or how many things you buy. That is also another meaning of it. Also at the same time, it is the process of eating and drinking. So you're consuming something. When you consume something, you consume food and drink. Now today, this is the old definition of eating and drinking. Today, you can also consume data. You can consume fashion. You can consume lifestyle, anything. Today, it is okay to say that this person is consuming so and so. So what does it mean when I say consumption? So if you look at the larger picture, consumption means when you consume something beyond, sorry, I'm talking about I'm so sorry, consumption is when you just regularly, but then there is another word which is associated with it, and that is consumerism. Okay, what is consumption? So consumption is when you take something when you need it, but what is consumerism? Consumerism is one step further, which is when you consume something beyond your requirement. All right, so like I said, now you can consume anything. You can consume food, you can consume drinks, you can consume data, you can consume fashion, you can consume lifestyle, right? You can consume anything. And the act of consuming more than what you need. Let's say, for example, today a lot of us have like 5, 6, 7, even 10 pairs of shoes in our cupboards. Some people have 40 t-shirts, 50 t-shirts, 10 hoodies, 20 skull caps, so on and so forth. And that is how it is, right? So that is consumerism. So consumption and consumerism. Now if I were to use consumption in a sentence, it could be the consumption of fossil fuels will drop as people move towards electric cars. Right? And consumerism is the basic reason for social unhappiness, and global warming. All right, so that is consumerism. All right, next one, optimal, and the last word of the whole. Right, that's the last one. Yeah, that's the last one. Optimal. Optimal means best. Now, how best? Best, optimal, best possible. Okay, optimal means best possible. So, for example, chalo, let's forget possible as well. Let's just go with this. Let's just simply go with the definition best. Now, let's say you're sitting in a room and it is very, very hot. Okay, summer is just around the corner now. It is very, very hot, and you turn on the AC. Now, let's say you turn on the AC and you set the temperature to 18 degrees Celsius. Now, at 18 degrees Celsius, the temperature eventually will be very, very cold for you. Okay, so you went from being very, very hot to very, very cold. So that is not good. But let's say the temperature is set to 24 degrees Celsius, and eventually at 24 degrees you're very comfortable, you're very happy. So 24 degrees is optimal because at that level you will perform well, you're happy. So that is the best possible temperature. That being said, you can't say, oh, this shirt is optimal for you. Then you say the shirt is best for you. Optimal can be used more in terms of performance, right? Statistics, numbers, all right? Performance and numbers. That is where you use the word optimal. So for example, setting the AC temperature at 24 degrees Celsius is optimal, as it is comfortable and it also reduces electricity consumption. Now, very often you will find people using the word optimal when you're trying to find balance between two things, right? So optimal is probably a setting at which equilibrium. So we learned the word equilibrium. Optimal is the point at which possibly equilibrium across two or three things is found. So everything is in balance at that point of time, right? So that is also the meaning of the word optimal. So that's the end of the 21 words that we had to learn in this session. What I'm now going to do is I will go all the way back to the first word and we'll run through all 21 words quickly. And then if you have any doubts, any questions, I can answer those for you. If you want to ask me anything about Unacademy Plus, if you want to ask me anything about these 21 words, I'll be happy to answer those for you. So let's go all the way to the beginning. All right, Pavandeep Singh. Okay, Pavandeep, if you really want to do all of this, what I'd recommend is you come join us on the app. Look, YouTube here is only for you to experience. That's it, all right? This is not where we do the teaching. Download the app. It is free. I do lessons over there. Over there, if you make these kind of requests, I may entertain those, but not here, all right? Not on YouTube. On YouTube, the objective is to give you an idea that Unacademy is there and this is what we cover, all right? So it's free. Download the app. Go to Play Store, all right? And from there, in fact, I do lessons every week in which I do topic-wise vocabulary, all right? So join me there. Tomorrow at 7 o'clock, there is one session on the app itself. So make sure you're joining me there. Okay, now, the 21 words, repertoire. Repertoire is what? Repertoire is a collection of skills or accomplishment that a person holds. Parameter. It is a constant or it's a characteristic, right? It's a characteristic of a particular entity or a constant factor while assessing something. Okay. For example, when we talk about speaking, so one parameter that decides your band score is fluency or pronunciation. Okay. Aspect. Aspect is a part, a quality, or an element of anything, of any entity, right? For example, being polite, right? That is an aspect of a person's personality. So one part of a person's personality, or for that matter, soft seats are definitely an aspect towards finding a good, or towards buying a car. Dynamic is something which is always active or changing, right? For example, The economy, it's never steady, right? One is steady, one is active, one is dynamic, right? So steady or unchanging, and then there is dynamic, which keeps changing. So it grows, it stops growing, and then it slows down, then it grows again, then it grows very fast. So it's always dynamic, right? Our lives are always dynamic. Domain is an area in which you hold expertise, in which you have thought, where you have influence, or it is an area of knowledge for somebody. For example, like for me, English is a domain where I have a lot of knowledge, where I hold influence. At the same time, today the word domain is also used for web address. For example, www.unacademy.com. Now, denote means to be the symbol, name or symbol for something. Okay. For example, if you have an arrow, what does that arrow show? That arrow denotes that at this point of time you need to turn right, left, right, whatever. Okay. So that is what the word denote means. Linear means in a straight line, made of lines. So linear could be anything. It could be a road, it could be a thought process, it could be an actual process, okay, or it could be a set of events which happen in a straight line, one after the other, without changing, without bending. Cognitive is the process of knowing or remembering. So cognitive skills, right? Cognitive skills. So your cognitive skills are those that help you to learn and that help you to remember. Okay. Correlation is a measure of relationship between two variables. So there are two different things. How are they related to each other? Okay. So for example, Earth and Sun. The correlation is that they are both part of the Milky Way. Another correlation is that Earth revolves around the Sun. Okay. Induce. What is the meaning of the word induce? Induce means to cause something. For example, if you end up watching a very boring movie, it will induce a state of laziness in you, a state of boredom in you. Okay, so if you're watching a boring movie, eventually you'll start getting all lazy and drowsy and sleepy. So watching that boring movie induced that state of being in you. Hey Sadaf, welcome to the class. How are you? Discourse. What does the word discourse mean? It means a conversation. Now, usually a talk or a conversation. So here, what happens is in a discourse, there is one person who's sharing knowledge with others in most cases, all right? In most cases, that is what the word discourse means. So today's discourse will cover the topic of learning English for IELTS, or Sadhguru always talks about logic whenever he gives a discourse, right? So that is how the word discourse works. Finite means of limited numbers, or having a limit, which means it will not go on forever, right? For example, people say that there are infinite stars, which means that they are beyond our count. They will go on forever and ever and ever. Maybe that's not true. They are finite eventually, right? There is eventually the number of stars in the planet. I'm good, Sadaf. Thank you so much. I'm very well. Feeling better, getting better, hopefully. Sort of, yeah. So, for example, Earth has finite sources, right? We think Earth has infinite sources, but it's not true. We are happily cutting our forests, but eventually they are in limited numbers. They are finite and they will come to an end. Stimulus. Very interesting. We keep hearing this all the time when it comes to economy. Unluckily, economy is the most important thing and it needs stimulus at all times. So what is stimulus? Stimulus is something that helps you bring about a change, right? So in terms of economy, so Sadaf, 21 words have been covered. I've been revising some of these. Hannah, after the lesson gets over, probably you should watch this again. Hey, by the way, you should join tomorrow evening, 7 to 8. I'm doing the vocab lesson on the app itself. So make sure you're joining that one as well. 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock. Yeah. So we'll be doing theme-based, whatever theme gets the maximum number of words, we'll be practicing on that one. Right. So, for example, the money released by the government acted as a stimulus and helped to save the economy. So what it did was spooky. Spooky means scary. Correct. Yeah, nice word. That's a good word. So that is the meaning of the word stimulus. Transformation. Transformation is a change, right? A lot of people undergo a transformation, which means they change. So, I mean, there are all these shows on television where they transform people, right? They'll pick up people who are fat, or they'll pick up people who are thin, or they'll pick up people who don't keep themselves very clean, and then they'll transform them into more attractive people, all right, or whatever. No, not on YouTube. It will be on the app. Come to the app. App pe hai na? Free wala class hai, so everyone can attend it. So, but you also join it, no? You should also join it, right? Variance. Variance is the variation, like the difference. There is a variance in temperature between the two rooms. So, which means that if temperature in this room is 24 and the temperature in that room is 20. There is a variation, right? That there is a difference in the two temperatures. That is the variance. So variance of 4 degrees, the difference. Empirical is something that has been achieved through observation or research. So results, proofs, theories, hypotheses, all of these are empirical, which means that there is some kind of research or observation, that it's not just randomly out of anywhere. I said, oh, that's not empirical. There is properly observed and you've achieved it. Equilibrium, when things are in balance, right? So for example, right now the weather in Ahmedabad somehow has found equilibrium. It's neither cold, well, it's never cold, and it's not too hot, so it's pleasant, all right? So it is in equilibrium. Or regression is when you go backwards instead of forwards, right? So thought, like I've been saying, today people are more emotional than logical, which is regression, because you want to be more logical and less emotional, right? And partial means sort of not complete, neither here nor there, right? Somewhere in the middle, that is partial. Consumption is the act of spending to buy something, or the process of consuming, eating or drinking. Today you can consume a lot of things as well, right? You can consume data, lifestyle, everything. And finally, optimal means best, right? The level at which something is at its best. So those are the 21. Not really, Sadaf, not really. It can be anywhere. Yes, a lot of it is around science. But of the 21 words, yes, the last 6 sort of are around science. But otherwise, it's not necessary. Others are from all over, right? So those are the 21 words I had to teach. Sadaf, make sure you're joining me tomorrow. I'll be bringing this lesson to an end here, right? Thank you everyone for joining in. If you have any questions, I'll be very happy to take those on the app itself. Make sure you're joining me tomorrow. Until then, remember, for IELTS, keep it simple and stick to the basics. Goodbye.